You're a former player. You're a manager. Things went pretty well. You're in a smaller market, similar to Baltimore. That's where we're based out of. And that's really about it.
All right.
I'll say this. I got a chance to, I think in a day and age of players in the game, analytics, things are changing. One of the compliments I got from one of your players, Tristan McKenzie, I know he had his up and down dealing with injuries, but he talked about how good of a manager of people you were. Your transition into the coaching has been seamless, but how are you able to keep the managing of the people part at the priority? Because at the end of the day, that's kind of what matters.
I mean, it's all that matters. You can have all the data, you can have all the in-game decisions, you can have all the answers, whatever you want to think, but it's about the people that need to go play the game. And so to hear that compliment from T-Mac, it means a lot. And you put a lot of effort into that. I worked hard every day to make sure our players knew I cared about them and loved them. And at the end of the day, that's what matters, because they're the ones that need to go out and perform.
Yeah, no doubt about it. Actually on the other side of it, because I like the journey of it, you played for how many years technically?
Total in pro ball, like 17 seasons, but 11 parts of 11 in the big leagues.
Parts 11 in the big leagues. So you had your own minor league grind to get up there. Hey, what was the first car that you had growing up?
So I had a 1999 Chevy S10, nothing power on it at all. The roll-up windows and locks.
That was it.
Yeah.
How long did that one last for you?
I had that for, I think, 5 years. 5 years, and then I got a Chevy Tahoe.
And that's what I got.
Yeah.
What year was the Tahoe?
05.
05? I had an 05 Suburban, ran it into the ground. It caught on fire coming back from spring training for me with the Nationals. I was going to Hagerstown, Maryland.
Oh, I've been there.
Been there?
Yeah,
Which team?
there. I was there low A, I think.
Yep, that's right.
I was on the Columbus Catfish in 2008, and we went to Hagerstown.
Obviously one of your favorite spots to play.
Yeah, way up there.
Way up there.
Yeah.
So, but one thing I always like the car situation, because talking about rolling it up and the journey and the process of what you got to now, one way that your team was described, because the Orioles guys were my teammates, Dean Kramer, Kyle Bradish, Gunnar Henderson, Westberg, but the pitchers would tell me and go, man, this Guardian team's scrappy. So is there a certain way that you embody with how you manage the game, or how do you create type of culture? I know the players got to go do it, but it does start with you.
Yeah, and I think what it was for me was learning who they are before I even met them.
Yeah,
and I was fortunate enough to take over for Terry Francona, who he established a lot of that culture as well as the players, but the organization as a whole, we're contact oriented. We don't try. I mean, we don't punch out much. We walk, we put the ball in play, and we're working on hitting for more power. It's just who we are, and that's who these guys were. And so learning who the guys are, and then once you understand, okay, that's what this group is.
Yeah.
Now you got to own that. And then you make them believe and help them understand, like, this is who you are. And this is who you just continue to be you.
Yeah.
If you continue to be you, you're going to be successful. And we found a way, I think that was the phrase that I kept finding myself saying, is like, we found a way to win tonight.
Yeah.
And that might be a safety squeeze. That might be moving a runner and getting a sac fly. It might be a homer that night.
Yeah.
But we're going to continue to just scrap and claw and scratch at you till you break.
Yeah, and you did that a lot. And even after David Fry hitting the jack, and then he's putting down a squeeze situation, which it's a lost art. I feel like nowadays people talking about Budden getting it down, and that's where the analytics come into play, right? Things have changed. But here you are. It don't matter. You're throwing out the book. One thing that's different, at least, which you did a tremendous job. Again, I told people, I go, man, Steven did something that I don't think people realize how hard it is. It's one thing to be a player, to jump right in and make it seem like you've been doing this for as long as you were a player, for 17 years. But now the expectations are going to be on here. And the reason why I bring this up here, I like to use the Baltimore connection. The Orioles kind of had that. Hide in the team, no expectations in 23, whammy, all the expectations in 24. And they did a good job through the injuries. How do you kind of view that with the Guardians? You guys are no longer the hunters. Like, you are the hunted and trying to get back to winning the Central, getting back to the World Series hunt.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know how to handle that.
You know what? I love that.
I don't. I've never been in this position, so I'll let you know a year from now. But I think for me, my least favorite phrase is last year. We're not going to be the same team. We may have a very similar personnel, but it's not going to be the same group of guys. We've already lost a couple people to free agency. There's going to be additions, subtractions. It's the way it works. So every single team, no matter how many people are coming back, you have to form a new identity.
Yeah.
So our identity, it might look similar, it might be similar, but we have to find what the 25 Guardians are going to be. And I think the players are going to drive that. They already are. They're working hard, and we're going to come together at spring training to find what's going to be our identity this year. And it could change throughout the year, but we can't do the same things the same way. You got to find who's a team, who are we this year, and let's not look back. We got to look forward.
What would be then one thing that you learned this year? Baseball, I feel like you learn so many things, and you can say, oh, I've seen it all, but we know this. Something else comes up. What was one thing you learned in 2024, whether as a manager or just being around the game?
I mean, I learned a lot. I constantly learn throughout the year. So if I had to put one thing,
or one of the things, how about that?
I think from this position, like going through it for the first time, it's a long season. And I know everyone says that from their own perspectives, because it is. It's long for everyone. No matter what you do in the game of baseball, it's a long season. But every single day, especially as the manager, you have to be the same person 24/7 every single day. And you have to work at it, because there's days where you're tired. There's days where you're upset. There's days where you're frustrated. There's days where you wish it was an off day.
Yeah.
But you can't ever let that be shown. And you just have to keep that same energy, same presence going all year long. And it's a grind. It's hard, but it's so much fun and it's rewarding to do it.
I can see the passion with you with it. And that's, people don't understand the word when we say it's a grind and it's used so many times. It is the sacrifice that you're doing. You're spending more time with the players, the coaches, the personnel than you do your own family for 8-9 months of the season. And you're trying to chase one common goal where everything can go right and everything can go wrong, just like that. Before I let you go, because I know you got to run around, since we did talk minor leagues, I love a good minor league story. I spent too much time there, and Asheville, our bus broke down, and we had to put water on the engine just to get back to Hagerstown. Do you got one for me that you could share that just would bring you back?
So we were traveling from Lexington, Kentucky, back to Columbus, Georgia. So it was about 9-10, after a night game.
Yep.
And so we're middle of the night, and our bus driver's having a hard time staying awake. So we had to take turns talking to him.
Yeah.
And so we each took a 1-hour shift. We had like 9 of us that took a 1-hour shift talking to the bus driver as he's ripping up pieces of paper to block the lights on the dashboard because they were too bright, because he was so tired. And we were swerving all over the place. So we took turns keeping our bus driver awake to stay alive.
See, the more you know about the minor league stories here. Oh, yeah. Buck Showalter had him on, and Buck's like, oh, yeah, our driver, he shit himself. So he said, hey, kid, do you know how to drive? And Buck was still playing. He was in Double-A, and he said Don Mattingly was on the team. And he goes, kid, can you drive? He goes, oh, I don't know. I've never driven a bus, but I'll do it. And he did around the Tennessee mountains.
Of course.
Right? That's how it works.
No,
but
you just never know. You never know what you're going to find in the minor leagues.
You never know. Well, Steven, hopefully get a chance to see you when you come to Baltimore. Well, you know what? You guys are going to be pesky the whole year. I'm rooting for you all the way. Just take it easy on the first one.
Appreciate it. We'll see.
All right, Steven.
All right. Thank you.
Appreciate you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
All right.